Hello, welcome. So this is the beginning. This is actually the first lecture of our course, and in this lecture I am going to be starting off by setting up the reference images. Okay, so the reference image, the images are what we're going to replicate, actually the images of the sketch of the character. That's usually, if you are working in a studio, you would have a character illustrator or a character artist who just gonna draw it on a piece of paper or something else, and then hand it over to you. Then you can bring it to Blender and then replicate that. Okay, so that is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be importing the characters. All right, so I've actually kind of sorted out these images, and then I've saved it along with this course. So all you gotta do is to go to the exercise files, download this folder, and then open up the files, and you will get all these reference images. Let me actually show you what I'm talking about. So this is the guy actually. Let me first start off by opening the one with the color, with the texture on it. So you can see this is the guy that we're going to be modeling. It's a mean guy who doesn't give a damn about anybody or anything in the world. You know, he's just him. Okay, he's bony. You know, he's, you can get a lot of details or inspiration from this guy. So this is the guy that we are going to model. All right, so we've got the front view, we've got the back view, we've got the side view. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is I am going to start by importing these references. Now before we start off, to avoid any future issues, or to avoid any of you that might struggle with a couple stuff, I just want to keep you aware of certain things you need to make sure are done beforehand. Okay, and one of those issues that people usually experience is toggling between different views, such as the front view. This is the front view, so I'm in the front view from here, so I'm able to open up the front view by tapping the number 1 key. If I press the 3 key, it's going to take me to the side view, which is called the right orthographic. If I move to the front and press the 9 key, it's going to take me to the back orthographic. Now remember, we've got the front view, we've got the side view, we've got the back view. Now in most cases you won't need the back view. Okay, back view will kind of be like an extra assistance to you, to aid you in nailing the design, the model that you are creating. All right, and I purposely decided to add up the back view so that it could help you guys in setting up the proportions of the body of this character in the right shape. Okay, so what I need you to do here is I need you to go to the edit menu, click on preferences, click on input, and make sure you check emulate numpad. If this emulate numpad is not checked, you will have issues switching or bouncing through these orthographic views. Now what we mean by orthographic views is that when you got a camera, let's assume, like, imagine a camera. Okay, if a camera is just positioned on like a table and focused from one angle, the camera is not moving, right? It is only seeing whatever is in front of it. Okay, it can't see the side, it can't see the back. So that is what front orthographic is like. If you got the reference image in the front, you can only capture the model or the reference from the front, and this helps us a lot as 3D artists in matching the proportions of our characters, right? Okay, so I'm gonna press the number 1 key, right here I'm in the front orthographic now. If I press the 3 key, like I said, we are in the right, so on and so forth. So without wasting much of our time, I'm gonna get into the folder where I've got this character, and here I'm gonna just start bringing in these characters. All right, so we got the front view. I'm gonna click on the front view. I'm gonna drag it up and put it right in the center. Right. So let's zoom in. What is going on? It's too small. Too small. So let's just kind of bring it here. So you can move stuff by just pressing the G key to grab, then you can move it around. So I'm going to just press Alt G to reposition or to recalculate the position of this character, of this image reference right on the grid. So if I go to the side view right here, I'm going to do same for the side view. I'm going to go to this folder, I'm going to drag the side view, I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to press what? Alt G to reposition. Make sure it's selected, Alt G. And here we have this. I'm gonna go to the front again before switching to the back view. So if I'm in the front and press number 9 key, it's gonna go opposite of the actual position it was. So that's why I need to go to the front first and then press the 9 key. It takes us to the back. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my folder and I'm gonna drag in my back view. Right here we got the right. So I'm gonna do the same thing, Alt G. Right now, the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start selecting this, select this, select this, select this to have all the references selected, and then I'm gonna click on this display properties, because if we move our scene a little bit and move back in perspective mode, you can see that all these reference images have been stacked in our 3D scene. Okay, it actually is making it. It's clustering on our scene. Okay, it's looking very untidy. It is all messed up. You know, it's just clustered and intersecting against each other. All right. So what we need to do is we need to have a clean scene in the perspective, because this is where our model is gonna actually start to come alive. This is where our model will kind of sit on. Okay, so we don't want any other thing here except the model. So what we want is actually to have these references only seen through the orthographic views. Meaning, if I press the num1 key, I can see the front view. If I press the 3 key, I can see the side view. If I press the 1 and 9 key, it goes to the back view, right? So I don't want to be seeing this also in the perspective. Okay, so here is how to do that. So we want to get rid of this. We want to position it right. Another thing we want to do is that if we go to the front view right here, you can see that this image is quite bright, and because of its high opacity, it's hard to see this axis. Okay, hard to see this coordinate that is running through it, because this is what tells you the where to position the reference. We want the reference to sit on top of this red line. Okay, but right here, if let's say we are positioning, we want to make sure this side is exactly on top of it. It's gonna be difficult, it's gonna be impossible to do because the opacity is bright. So what we need to do is to come over here, hold the Alt key, so that the effect is gonna apply to the rest of the selected reference images. So hold the Alt key, we'll check opacity, and I'm gonna reduce this. So I'm reducing it to something about that. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the front view. Now first, before going to the front view, actually I'm gonna hold Alt again. I'm gonna turn off perspective because we're still in the perspective mode. So I'm gonna hold Alt, I'm gonna turn off perspective, so you can see it's no more in our perspective scene. Okay, but if we go to orthographic views, we can still see them, the right, the front, the back. All right, cool. All right, so now we've cleaned it off from the perspective view. We've reduced the light effect of the images. Now one more thing we need to do is, you can see that we are seeing two references, you know, with each other here, the front and back. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to only see the front from the front and see the back from the back, and not seeing both in both front and back in the back orthographic or in the front orthographic. So to do that, make sure they are all still selected. select this, hold shift, select this, hold shift, select this, and then I'm going to hold alt and press the front of this option here. Now you can see we are only seeing the back view from the back orthographic, we are seeing the front view from the front orthographic, we can see the right view from the right orthographic. So without wasting much of your time, you're going to go right in and then start positioning these reference images in the right places. So I'm going to start by selecting this front orthographic, and next I'm going to start renaming these reference images so that it will be easy for us to select these references and make changes when we need to easily without having to, so we don't run into mistakes. So I'm going to select these fronts here. I'm going to double click this image name here. I'm going to name it front view. I'm going to go to the right view. I'm going to select the side view of the image, and I'm going to double click this. So once you select it in the scene, it's going to highlight it in the collection list here. Okay, so I'm going to rename this collection is more like a folder that stores your objects. Okay, any properties that comes into your 3D scene, it goes right into the collection list. Okay, you can kind of think of it like a folder where you store your images, different images in different folders, so it keeps everything tidy and neat. So this is the side view. I'm going to name it side view. Right, boom. Now let's go to the front, we go to the back view, and here we got the back view. We are going to select this back view and we're going to name it back view. All right, so we go to the front view here. All right, so now we need to make sure that this image reference is aligned right at the center. Okay, we need to position it at the center of this line. Okay, this line is just the marker for the center. Okay, so we're using it as the base for our center. So now another thing, okay, let's select this. Actually, I'm going to use G key to grab the image, and then we want to move it to a particular coordinate. Now one thing I want to show you here, I'm going to bring in my annotations. If we click right here, click on annotations, and I'm going to just illustrate something to you guys. Now you see this is like your compass, it's like your navigator. Okay, so this blue line has this Z letter, meaning this blue line, wherever you see a blue line, that runs to your Z axis. Wherever you see a red line, it is your X axis. Wherever you see the Y or the green line, is the Y axis. Okay, so that means moving up or down is the what? Is the Z axis. If you are moving left or right, you are moving in the X axis. Okay, then in perspective you can clearly see the Z axis, the Y axis. The Y axis is going here and here, while the X axis is going here and here. Okay, then the Z axis is going up and down. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So I'm gonna clear up these annotations and let's continue. So now I'm gonna go to the front view, and I want to position this on top of this X axis, this red line. So I'm gonna use G key to grab it. I'm gonna press my Z key and move it towards the top. Okay, make sure it's sitting right on top of this grid. Boom. Now we move over to the side view, and I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna grab this, press the Z key and move it up as well. So we want to make it sit also on top of the grid. There you go. Now go to the front, go to the back, select this, grab this with the G key and press Z to move in the Z axis and put it right on top of this red line. Okay, now we've done that. One more thing. Okay, you can see this line is not at the center of the body of our character, so we're going to grab this again and move it in the X axis to position it at the center. So we're going to be starting off with the head, and then we move on to model the body. You can style in any way you want. You can start from the body, then move up to the head. But for this lecture, I decided to tackle the head because the head is more of the most challenging part. Okay, so if you can if you can overcome or figure out the head modeling, the rest of the body is just gonna be so easy for you. Okay, if you can, if I would say personally, if you nail the head, you are like about 60-70% done with the character, because that is what takes most of the time. Okay, so because there's a lot of topology you have to follow, there's some proportions you have to follow, and a lot of other stuff that needs to be done right. Alright, so I'm gonna grab this. So we've positioned this back view at the center. That's great. So move to the front view. I'm gonna grab this front image. I'm gonna grab it, move it to the x-axis, and position it at the center. Now I'm not worried about the body. You can see the body is a little bit off center. Okay, because the image itself is not symmetrical. Okay, it's not 100% symmetrical. All right, so we'll do the head, position at the center. When we get to the body, we can reposition it to match the symmetry of the body. All right, so we got this right at the center, which is cool. Now I'm going to move to the back. Okay, we've done the back, the side view. Grab this. All right, and move to the y-axis and put it somewhere. Let's just look at the legs and something like this. Okay. Alright, so I'm using the leg to kind of weigh which area should be the center. So that is it. Okay, so yeah, we've set up our reference images. In the next lecture, we kick it off and start modeling the head of our character, and then we can move up to the body and tackle some other stuff, and then that we can now move on to other advanced stuff like materials and other stuff, and then we'll be done. Okay, so I hope that you followed along and just have fun, practice, and join me in the next class as we begin modeling the character. Alright, so take care now and bye bye.